Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Still Sane Podcast. I am your host, Talkative Try, and I have with me the legendary PoE1 content creator and Path of Exile 2 tourist, BalorMage. Balor, what have you been playing in 0.3 so far, and how are you doing today, my friend?
First of all, perfect intro. Love it. I've been playing Minions again, obviously, because I league start everything as Minions. But this is the first time it felt good in PoE 2. Like, it's significantly better now. I wouldn't say they've like 100% nailed it, but they got rid of like a lot of the problems. Like, Minions are significantly better than they were.
Okay.
Very happy about it. Only did my first reroll yesterday, so I'm on to character 2 now. That one didn't even make it through the campaign yesterday because I'm slow. So campaign is a 2-day journey. But yeah, that's the first reroll. I've been having a blast. I did every bit of content, unlocked every key, and did everything. So
Awesome.
significantly better endgame too. Obviously stuff left to change, but like the things they added to it, all fantastic.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I tend to agree with you. I am beyond addicted at this point, and I'm sacrificing my sleep. I still spend some time with my family, but I've been staying up till 2 a.m. on weeknights, and I really shouldn't because I'm starting to feel the effects and consuming more energy drinks. But it's worth it right now. Like, I'm having a blast, dude. Now, obviously, I'm playing Melee, which is far superior to Minion in every way, shape, or form in both PoE1 and PoE2. But since you're playing Minions and you really enjoyed it, I'm curious, what form of Minion are you playing? Because I tuned into your stream, I think at the end of day one, I rated you, and I saw... Well, I didn't really see anything on your screen, if I'm being honest. so could you explain, are you doing skellies, zombies, specters, the little bone things? What are you doing? I'm curious.
It's all specters. There are really only 3 specters in the entire game that are even usable, and one of them is significantly worse than the rest. The one that's significantly worse is Valguards. That's the one we used to use. It's the one we used last league. That's the worst visually and also the worst damage and the worst clear of all 3 of our options. So we got 2 new options this time. One of them is called Cocaine Ants. I actually can't remember what their real name is. Everybody calls them Cocaine Ants. I'm not playing that one. They're pretty good, but they excel in easy content. The easier as long as your minions can one-shot everything, then they clear faster than any other minion build in existence, right? Because they'll armor break and do a big armor break explosion and everything off a single hit, and they'll just mow through everything. But it only works when you're either super outgeared or doing very easy content.
Okay, so that's why Gazzy plays
like
them. Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, because he's either super outgeared or just doing Alk and Go content. But they're fantastic for that. They're way faster than what I'm doing in that level of content. And then I'm using one called Powered Zealots, which is essentially Spark.
Okay.
Except I have 11 of them. You can give them infinite pierce, and they bounce off walls, and they bounce off. They do the chaining off terrain thing by default because it's Spark, and it just does that, so it can hit the same mob multiple times, and it is the highest damage and highest clear minion in the game, and it's fantastic. But it doesn't use our visual appearance of our casting arc, which would make it so much better to see, because our version of arc is like very unintrusive little lines that go everywhere. It's functionally the same skill, but they have their own MTX on it, which is this giant ball of lightning that still only does damage in the same area of arc that arc would normally. It's Spark, the same thing, but like it has this ball of lightning, and because I've got 11 of them, it does just make the whole screen blurry.
Right. Oh my God.
But they work really well. They're very, very strong.
Okay. And you said they improved minions from 0.1 and 0.2. I know in both those patches there was a lot of minion jank. Is that still present? Like the body blocking and all that crap. Is that still in the game, or is a lot of it removed?
You can technically still get body blocked by your minions now. However, I think in 2 weeks I've had that happen to me maybe 3 times total, and it used to be 8 times a map. Right? Like I've ran like Maya and Augury and things like that, and my minions can now get over the thin bridges with me.
That's nice.
So like that collision problem it still exists. They're still objects, but they seem to and I don't have like confirmation of it, but just playing it and seeing what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have like a dev telling me how they changed it, but it seems like they do a way better job of getting out of my way when I try and walk, even when we're on like really thin areas where they weren't able to get out of the way in the past. The other problem they used to have, which was not in the patch notes listed anywhere, is they used to just, if you move too quick or travel in a weird way or shield charge somewhere or anything, specters would just get stuck in wisp form, which is, so like for anyone who's never played minions, if you travel far enough away from specters, what they do is they change into a little wisp, gain a bunch of movement speed and like zoom towards you and then reappear as the minion to do damage again. Well, they used to just get stuck as wisps all the time. And once they got bugged and stuck as wisps, they would stay where they were and you had to go back and collect them for them to turn into minions again. And it was very frustrating. That has not happened to me a single time this patch.
Oh, that's great.
They are not getting stuck as wisps anymore.
Oh, that's good to hear.
The third problem they used to have is their clearing of trash was always terrible. We could always get enough overlapping damage to do bosses. In the last 2 leagues, we have seen like the first people killing bosses on day 1 in garbage gear are always minions. The people doing your carries on day 1 for like Trial of Sekima and whatnot are always minions. Because you can build very glass cannon, and on 0 gear, you can get more single target boss out of a minion build than you can out of any other build. When you're talking day 1, no gear, no ability to scale, nothing, right? They've always had the highest, even though they're like awkward to play. Their boss damage was never really a huge issue, but they could never really clear properly. They just didn't. And I don't really know why, because you would think, oh, I have the greatest boss damage, I should be able to kill white mobs, but you couldn't. You couldn't. You'd watch minions hit white mobs 7, 8 times and not kill them. And then you'd get to a boss and kill it in 2.5 seconds, and you'd be like, where's that damage on my white mobs? I don't know. So I don't know what causes that, but they also gave us 50% more damage. That doesn't apply to bosses.
Right.
So it's 50% more damage, but it will not apply to any unique mobs, bosses, things like that. So that the boss damage stayed the same. We didn't get a buff, but 50% more damage to all the trash makes us able to actually clear things. So better in every way. Very happy about it.
Yeah, they sound a lot comfier now. Almost to the level where I might try them at some point. I might give them a go. I mean, they look really cool. Do you think a Triceratops build would work, or do you think that will never pan out?
I want it to. Not yet. They're not good enough.
Dang. How many can you resurrect of those? They must have a high spirit cost, because
I think they're a 99 cost. 99?
So oh, you could do
I think
quite a few. Yeah,
I think you can get out like 6 or 7 of them.
that's a lot. So I'll have the pets jamming, 7 Triceratops. I'll make it work one day, right? I mean, I just got to rock out his flow, dude. I am richer than I have ever been before. And so I'm really curious, Balor, because you play builds to their maximum and you optimize things, right? I've never been this wealthy, dude. I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to sell the rock out his flow for like 22 divine orbs. How do I not trap myself and buy bad gear? Because I think I'm going to go shopping. I just don't want to screw it up and waste all my currency. Do you have any tips for people who might find themselves?
The first thing to focus on if you're going to spend a lot of money for the first time is to make sure the things you're buying are resellable. Something that isn't niche to your exact and only your exact build.
Okay.
Because if you're buying something that's 10 div and you've only got 20 total and it's the richest you've ever been, you don't want to be done with that and then be like, oh, I can't get rid of this again. Like I'm going to have to resell this for like a div and I'm not going to get anything back. That's terrible. You want to, so purchasing big items, focus on things that might have use outside of your build, or if you're playing the most meta thing, then it won't matter because it will be resellable. But stuff that crosses over.
That's smart.
Or craft yourself, because crafting is Oh, it's
See,
actually great.
I have a lot of currency built up too, because I haven't sold anything really, and I haven't gone on any crazy crafting sprees. So I've got a ton of perfects. I have a bunch of essences. I have omens, man. It's been feeling
Yep.
really good. How would you compare the state of crafting to the state of gambling in 0.2 and before?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't. They introduced crafting this league.
Right.
It just wasn't. I don't. But the stuff that existed before wasn't crafting. There was
Right.
no crafting.
Yeah.
That's just this is the patch where crafting got introduced. That's what this is.
So I'm curious from your perspective. I was debating this a little bit with chat earlier. I think it's in a great spot. I've seen some people say that it's too powerful. Do you think that they're going to bring it down substantially? Are we going to see a harvest level apocalypse for crafting, or do you think it's going to stay pretty much in its current state come 0.4 in the future? Because I really like it.
I don't know is the real answer,
Okay.
because I actually think I like it. Here's my concern.
Okay.
I've been hearing a lot of the same complaints you have, which is like, oh, it's like harvest level, I can print a mirror tier item thing. And they're correct. With enough money, you can absolutely just print out 6 tier 1 in the exact things that you've chosen. And I get that maybe that's too strong in the high end. But this is where I come from on that, is 99.5% of people will never own that item anyway, would never be able to afford to craft it. And the people who are making mirror tier things now with this system much easier were already making them last league anyway. They can do, those people will do it with nothing. If the only thing you have to do is spam annuls and exalts, they'll just spend thousands and thousands and thousands of them until they get the correct item they want. Those people make that shit anyway. For me, the important bit is I never make items like that. I've never made a mirror tier item in my life.
Right.
Not that I can't, it's that I don't want to. That's a lot of bullshit. What I like is that I can make decent items myself. And right now we can. They've
Boom.
closed that gap. I could craft items in solo self-found. Will they all be perfect tier 1s? No, but I'll be able to get at least 4 mods that are the exact ones I wanted, and 2 useful ones, all in the top 2 or 3 tiers. I'll be able to make that really easy, even in solo self-found, which gives me at a mid-level of crafting the ability to make my own upgrades. And I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
So I personally don't really care what the mirror crafters are doing. I don't care if they can or can't make their mirror items. It doesn't affect me, and it doesn't affect you, and it doesn't affect anybody that's playing the game. We're not in that market. There's like 300 people total in that market, and you're probably not one of them. So
Totally
stop getting
agree.
upset about what they can do and focus on what we can do, which we've got access to crafting now. And I love that, and I don't want to lose it.
Totally agree with you, and it's why I'm pushing back against some people, some of the best crafters in the game, who may also be content creators, right? Like one of my friends, Dead Rabbit, he spends hundreds and hundreds of divines, multiple mirrors crafting, and he's expressed that crafting is too easy now. And I'm saying exactly what you're saying.
I've been watching Dead Rabbit's crafting videos as well. I love that guy's content.
Yeah,
it's actually really good.
It is.
Watching it is half of what taught me how to craft my items. Even because I'm not going for the extreme, but if I watch somebody front to back craft the extreme perfect item, then I can know how to make myself a settler item where I'm okay with it not being perfect, and I can do that way cheaper. So, but he is one of those people. He is one of those 300 or 400 people that were already last league printing mirror items. He's got videos from last league.
Oh, sure.
He did it anyway.
Yep.
Like, oh no, he can still do it now? Of course he can.
Right.
But now I can craft, and I couldn't. Last league, there was no crafting for me. There was nothing.
True.
I did not have crafting. What was crafting? Picking up every base and just going transmute, augment, rebuild, knock that shit, throw it back on the ground. That was it. That was it.
I think you may have said it. Maybe I'm wrong, but identifying with extra steps is kind of what it was. I don't remember if you coined that or not. I seem to remember you saying that, but it's so true, and it does not feel that way.
Crafting is what I call it.
Scrollcraft.
Wisdom scroll
Wisdom
crafting.
scroll crafting. There you go. It feels so much better, and I'm with you. I hope they keep it very similar to this and don't revert all these changes. And we're seeing W spammed in the chat. Well said, sirs. Everybody is in quite agreement with you. So, GGG, if you're listening to this, please consider us. Don't consider the top 300. Come on, you're right. They will craft the same exact items just over a longer period of time with more currency.
The difference is now they craft that item in 100 div, but they used to spend 1,000 div to do it. Okay, but those people were going to make 1,000 div regardless. They're going to now they made 10 items to mirror. Who cares? I want to craft. I want to craft.
Me too. I like it. I like being able to do it. It's so enjoyable. And I think another thing of this patch that, from my perspective, is better, but I'm really curious to hear yours, is, and people might scoff at this, okay, but build viability. Keyword there, viability, okay? Diversity, might be a little rough, but I know that when I reached out to you about a month ago asking, what is Path of Exile 2's biggest problem right now? What should it solve? You went on a soliloquy, which I much appreciated and memed on a little bit in my video, essentially saying, you need more customization options. This is a Path of Exile game. I expect to be able to do more with my toys than what is available right now, and I can't. Would you say they succeeded or moved in the right direction in this patch, and why do you think that is?
No, I would not. Do I think there are more viable builds? Well, like level of viability, I guess yes, but it depends on which way you look at it, because while DEADEYE itself didn't really receive any buffs, the game did get buffed in like 17 different ways that all happened to work with DEADEYE. So now it is everybody comparing themselves to DEADEYE. And so I just want to throw out, obviously we need to nerf the crap out of that. It's so far above everybody else. It's so far above everybody else that every build looks garbage if you just look at it next to a DEADEYE, which is why like it was 60% of the player base on like day 3, and it's still like 40 or 45% right now.
It's insane.
It is crazy that even made it in, because we were all collectively calling, oh, if you don't make a DEADEYE, you're basically trolling, before the league even started. So I don't know how that balance made it in. But if we ignore that, there are a lot more viable builds, but that's just because they number tweaked things and gave me more viable builds by just buffing more of the things they already planned for us to use. I don't think I have any more ability to be creative. I just have the ability to see the tools that they put together and exactly the puzzle pieces they gave me that only fit with their own puzzle. And I have 2 examples of this because my first 2 rerolls didn't work because they're functionally stopped from working, because that wasn't originally the design. So the first thing I wanted to do, I wanted to reroll a tactician using the node that says, I think it's watch what I do or something. It gives your allies in your presence a percentage of your weapon. And I was going to run a double companion build, but the companion node says you can't have 2 of the same companion. You can have 2 companions, but not the same one. So I thought that meant I just wouldn't be able to like tick the up button like a minion build where you just go from 1 to 2, right? I thought, oh, I'm going to have to get a second gem. I'm going to have to go out and find a second mob. We're going to have 2 6 links, and that's just how that's going to work, right? It turns out, no, you can't use the same mob type at all. So even if you go out and get 2 cocaine ants that are different, that have different auras, and you put that node on and do that, you come back, you can't use them. You can't summon them both. They're blocked off. So I was going to make a full companion build that used 2 companions and myself with a spear. All the companion nodes also have damage to you as well. So it was going to be a proper spear hybrid minion build where there would be basically 3 entities doing good damage, and I am only one of them. And so it would be very melee, very up in your face, very, very I am part of this fight, and I just have 2 buddies with me.
I love it.
Doesn't work. Gone. Just ruled out because of an arbitrary restriction of that node. It just doesn't let you. I want to change that node to say +1 companion instead of you can have 2 companions, and then not have that limit of making them different. Like, I'm still happy to go pick up 2 gems and pick 2 different mobs, but like, I can't really build around 2 different styles of minions. Like, I can't have 1 spark guy and 1 cocaine ant. That doesn't work. There's also a chest that has the same node that my original plan was like, maybe I can have 3 companions, but it's the same wording on the chest. You can have 2 companions rather than you can have +1. Remember that an extra companion would still cost an absolute buttload of spirit, and it's percentage-based spirit too. So it's not like letting me stack these would suddenly let me have like an infinitely powerful build. It wouldn't. I would have to invest heavily in spirit reservation. I would have to not invest in spirit, so it didn't use so that the percentage, there's no point in me investing in spirit. I'd have to invest in reservation a lot to fit 3 of them in, and it would use all my spirit, and I would have no auras left. But I could have 3 companions that way. But it doesn't work. So I had to abandon that idea. I'm very excited about that. The next one I wanted to do was the new rocket boots, that you have like a cannon leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of the damage supports up the damage on those.
Oh.
They sock it in, the damage doesn't change. You can't build around the rocket boots.
Bug? Maybe?
I don't know.
Hopefully?
I think that no, I don't think so, because the supports that work in that are just like AoE and cooldown and stuff. And I think the only job of those rocket boots is that they're supposed to blow up grenades, because that's what they designed. So even though they have a damage component, I can't support it with damage stuff, because that's not what GGG designed. It's the same problem of they give you a set of tools that work together and only work together. And I'm not allowed to be creative outside of that. That is still the #1 problem. It's still the thing I'm going to complain about the most.
So they got to open it up a little bit more, because I think the line was, you said like, I've seen 1 or 2 builds that I think GGG, smart people at GGG didn't design, hadn't thought of beforehand. And
side note, those got nerfed. They stopped those interactions.
Oh no.
Yeah.
See,
not like they nerfed, they stopped those interactions from working.
Okay.
So they're like actively working against innovation in the community, which is fucking weird and not what GGG normally does.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that. Why do you think that is? Because where my mind immediately goes is, I'm going to be the GGG shill here, or the devil's advocate to you. They're trying to design the baseline level of the game, get all the crap in as balanced as possible, right? And then once everything is in, like the passive tree has its initial real foundation, then they're going to let all the crazy crap just unfold. But until then, they're going to be like, okay, we kind of want predetermined paths. We don't want to let people go too crazy while we get the foundations going on, even if that's going to take 2 years. And then we'll start opening up the floodgates. I don't know. That's my explanation. What do you think it is?
Sure, but like at the same time, they've designed a Deadeye and a Rower with 170% movement speed that one-shots everything in the game. So maybe if I don't want to play the meta thing, maybe just let me have fun.
Right.
Like, maybe just let me make some shit up.
It is crazy that it's still in that state, dude. Like, for the first time, I hadn't watched like anybody stream really or any highlight videos. I looked at someone's lightning arrow Deadeye, and I turned it off after like 20 seconds. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's not expose myself to this,
I've done it. I opened up Fubgun's stream and watched 1/3 of a map, and then went, I can't watch this or I'm going to feel real bad about everything I've been doing. I'm like, I need to close this off. I need to stop, put the blinders back on. Right. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to play other builds and enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah. My dad was roasting my Hollow Palm Monk because he is playing Flubgun's Deadeye. And he's just on the Roa, just, freaking one bowstring back, blowing up everything. He's like, bro, you're fisting that thing like 10 times and it's still not dead. What an absolute joke of a build you have. And I felt so good about it. But it is wild that it's in that state. So, and it's going to be that way until December. And then even then, so what I'm also curious about, everybody was saying Deadeye is busted. Like you said a few minutes ago, if you're not going Deadeye, you're absolutely cooking yourself an absolute joke. You're making a fool of yourself. GGG usually will be like, oh, you know what? Actually, That has some truth to it. You know, maybe we'll do some touches here. That didn't happen. It is kind of curious that people predicted this would be giga powerful and it ended up being powerful. Do you think it's going to get nerfed, or are they just fine with Deadeye fulfilling this sort of fantasy alongside the Roa mount?
1 second. I was just gonna plug
you're
this
good.
in because my headset's gone dead. There we go.
Oh, all set. I was just talking crap about you.
No, I heard it all.
Oh,
It's
you
just
heard it
beeping
all.
at me, telling me
Ah,
it's about to
dang.
turn off.
It was some A-level shit talking, Balor'S. So just
We'll see. Look, realistically, I don't know why that made it through. I make jokes on stream that it's Mark's fault, but I am not serious when I make those jokes.
yeah.
Right? The joke there is that Mark always likes to play support. Who do you think he's supporting? He's supporting Deadeyes. So Deadeyes are going to be god tier because whoever's mate who's playing his carry is going to be a Deadeye. But that's when I do that on stream, it's been clipped and linked to people. And when I do that it's part of the joke. All right. Like it's
Real.
I don't actually think he's intentionally keeping Deadeye in an overly buffed state because his carry mate is playing a Deadeye. Okay. That's not a real thing. I just have to throw that out because like it's a funny joke to make in the middle of a stream, but it gets clipped and then like shown around as like it's my real opinion, and it isn't. It's just a bit, all right? It's just funny. It's not really what's happening, but I don't have an explanation though, because like I don't even mind if that's the level of power we're supposed to have, but if we are, the rest of us are cooked and need like 18 million buffs, or we need to slow that all the way down. Like I don't understand.
No, it's valid. It's valid, like you said. I try not to get jealous. What is it? Is it envy is the fear, like the enemy of happiness, of joy? Envy is the enemy of joy, right? Yeah, 100%. Because if I see that crazy level of power with minimal investment, it makes me feel bad, so I just don't watch it. So, but you're right.
Yeah, comparison
is the thief of joy. There it is. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. I can't quote anything. It's too late for me. Morning for you. It's 9:24 for me, and I have an energy drink in me. So, okay. Well, we don't know what GGG's doing with that. Do you think GGG know what they're doing with the support gem change? Because I had a little birdie tell me that you are actually a fan of this single support gem across your entire build. Obviously, they've reverted that. How do you think that's played out so far? Was the birdie wrong, or what?
No, I was a fan of the idea,
right,
of limiting my support gems to 1 per. In general, I thought that led to way more interesting builds. But what would actually happen in game is, so, okay, all right, so we've got to go back to the beginning for why I liked that and thought it was a good idea. Because it ended up not being a good idea, and I like it more this way. But it should have been a good idea. They just buckled, and they didn't do what they said they were going to do. So we have to go back to the beginning. We were originally sold the support gem system as almost entirely utility. There weren't going to be damage buffs. The difference in damage between a 3-link and a 6-link wasn't going to exist. Raw damage was going to be the same. You would be getting a lot more utility out of your skill via extra links. They would not come with damage. And with that in mind, limiting support gems to 1 per your entire class will lead to very interesting, very varied builds, because you get to decide what utility goes with what skill, but you still get to use multiple skills because they don't come with damage. At some point during development, they completely folded that and added a bunch of damage multipliers. And as soon as you add the damage multipliers, if there isn't so many roughly equally powered damage multipliers that you can put them with every single skill on your entire tree, then it becomes back to the PoE 1 of, well, you better invest all your best things into 1 ability because that's all of the support that you get, and then you can't use other ones because you're running out of damage supports for them. So I did really like the idea when it was part of the full idea of not having damage supports, only utility, and balancing the game around that and the extra utility from links being really good. loved it then. Once they've folded and added damage supports, it no longer suits that.
True.
It just doesn't suit anymore. If you want me to use multiple abilities, if you want me to use combos, if you want me to have a clear skill and a single target skill, I need to be able to put my damage supports with both. Otherwise, I can't.
Yeah. No, thank you for the history lesson. I clearly remember that presentation from ExileCon 2023. Yeah, I remember them breaking that down, seeing the initial reveals, and a lot of them were their utility, but once we actually got into the game, obviously that was not the case at all. And yet, I think this is, if they're going to go with that, lots of supports having damage multipliers, this is the way. And then maybe they can try to accomplish all that wacky stuff with the lineage support gems, which have been added to the game. Obviously, there's about 40 of them. Unfortunately, I've only seen widespread use of a couple. Do you think those were a bit of a dud being added to the game? Or maybe it's one of those future-proofing things, like, oh, in the future, like that unique that was added way back when is actually going to have utility in 0.6.
Well, it kind of goes back to the other problem. There are several lineage supports that I want to use in my minion build that are arbitrarily restricted from being linked to them. They just don't work.
Break the shackles.
I'm not using them because they don't go in, even though they should.
They're just scared of your full power, bro. Like, you're like chained up, and if they unchained BalorMage, the builds would just be too ridiculous, man. I need to shackle you a little bit.
The biggest one is I forget its name, the Wild Shard one. There's a Wild Shard lineage one that's like better than Wild Shards. That's really cool. I got 2 minions who are using Wild Shards. You can't socket that lineage gem in. Damn. It's literally Wild Shards plus, and it just doesn't go in.
Sion's Temper. Sion's Temper.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them. They're just arbitrarily restricted to not work with certain things, and it's still going to remain my number one problem until they stop restricting things. Is why have we just got this arbitrary restriction of you just not basically let me do bad ideas?
Yeah.
Okay. I have bad ideas that are fun, and you're stopping me from doing bad ideas that are fun. I honestly, both of my build ideas weren't going to be real good. I wasn't going to be bringing out S tier builds, but it was going to be fun and different. But no, they've just ticked the don't do that button, and I just don't get to.
Yeah, I understand the restrictions with, you can't use a quarterstaff skill with a mace because, animations, and it's just a little change. But something like this, where it's just changing the mechanics of a skill gem to be a more powerful version, like the Wild Shards and Sion's Temper example, that's shocking that doesn't work. I hope it's just a matter of, like, they added these late, they have to be further refined, and in 0.4 or a future incoming patch, that's fixed or changed. Somebody's comparing you to the prisoner boss. You're just shackled deep below, underneath the ocean. You're just trying to.
Hold on, there's another one. I'll give you another example of new things that don't work for me that should. Okay, my Spark minions. When you go to their skill, it's a full description of Spark. It works exactly how you expect it to. It even has the line, infuse with cold. We'll use a cold infusion to make cold Spark that'll cast in a Nova. I forget the exact words, but it's all right there. There's a support gem that you can use on a infusion generating ability that will stop you from gaining the infusion and will give it to all your nearby allies instead. That support gem works, and it stops me from getting the infusion. And it gives the infusion to all my allies nearby, and then they just don't use it. They just continue to cast Spark like normal, and that would have changed my entire build. I would have been changing my entire build to try and generate as many infusions as possible and try and share them with my allies, which would have been super interesting. I would have used their new infusion tech. I would have been running combo skills just like they wanted, but that just doesn't work. Just again, we've just ticked a button that says, mechanically, we're not going to let that happen. Don't do that. Stop stopping me.
Sounds a little busted, Balor. 11 mages with infusions. I mean, they were a little stingy with one mage having infusions and like the sorceress. So, I could be screen shattering. But yeah, I think that's another good example. Man, I sound like a freaking white knight, but I'm just hoping that I'm right and that they're going to allow all this crazy bad build stuff to happen. Because in PoE 1, I feel like the floodgates are open there. You're allowed to just make as many bad builds as you want. There's just so many wacky interactions that just work. So I know that they want, especially the early game, to kind of be on the rails. But once you progress to a certain degree and you're using all these various disparate facets together, you should just be able to knock them together, and they should work, even if it's terrible. I really hope that comes into the game, dude. For your sake, like, my brother's the same way, honestly. He's trying to make a monk cast on sorry, not a monk, a ritualist cast on crit comet hollow palm build work. And dude, it's so bad. Like, I don't know if my brother's listening right now. It's so bad, my man. He's getting like 2 comments or something to fall from the sky, and he's like, yes, yes. But he's doing all this work to try to make it happen, and there's all these roadblocks in the way. Like, he's tried all these different classes, and he gets so disappointed when something doesn't work, even though it just makes sense logically or even mechanically. Yep. When he puts it into practice and out of POB, he just gets so dejected, and he may have lost all his currency and gold trying this out. So it's a double whammy. Yeah. So I really feel you, man.
And everything shouldn't succeed. But I want when you try it, I want it to mechanically work, because it should logically work. And I want the failure to just be like, in this instance, if that's not to work, it should be that you've had to invest so much in crit and melee stuff, and you've got to use this hollow palm stuff, and you just don't have enough room left in your gear to make the comet do enough damage or get plus levels and whatnot. So you should be running that, like, the failure of that sort of build should be, well, I'm running around spawning a bunch of comets on crit, but they don't do any damage. They're just real weak comets everywhere.
They look really pretty, man.
But still work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's the whole thing. So just allowing people to fail like that, I think, is super important. So hopefully that happens in the future. And I know, guys, we have not been glazing grinding gear games this podcast, but it's because we've been playing so much Path of Exile 2, right? We've been so hopelessly addicted. We're just noticing all these little things that we wish would change in the game.
I mean,
right?
To be fair, I'm glazing them quite a bit, other than this one thing of them limiting creativity.
Right.
That's the only complaint that I really have, is stop limiting creativity.
The rest of
everything else is great.
Yeah, everything else is great, guys. So, you know, I guess maybe just to do some like really hardcore glazing, just for a moment here, and I don't actually know your opinion on it, so maybe not. How many times have you died in a stupid way to sprint? Has that happened to you, or have you mastered it like me?
I've tried a bunch, especially in the first few days to sprint.
Oh.
Honestly, I got better at it. If you're still dying to sprint all the time, it's a skill issue. Get better.
Boom.
It's great, actually.
It is. I was a disbeliever. Dude, I put out a short saying, yo, sprint, after day 1, I played for 16 hours. I was like, sprint sucks. It's bad. It needs all these fixes.
Day 1, it sucked for all of us. We were all dead.
And dude, I got messages from GGG, and I got hundreds of comments saying, you're just bad. Here's what you need to do. And you know what? I self-reflected. I tried it out. And you're right, Balor. It was a skill issue. It was. And I moaned about it. So, but it feels good now.
And occasionally I still die now to sprint, but when that happens, I'm like, oh, I was greedy. Oh no, I'm gonna die to this stun. Oh, that was greed. Oh, I lost that map. That was so much greed. I shouldn't have been sprinting then.
Like with Zarok, the Zarok fight, the temporal fight, floor 4 Trial of Sekma. I've used sprint on that. Never, just don't. It's not worth it. I get so greedy in that fight. And he just knocks me over, and then I lose all my honor. I died 5% health on Zarok. It was terrible, dude. So learning where you can use sprint, where you can't, it's really fun. I've come to love it. I think the one change I would make is allow you to bind it to a different key, so that you dodge, you press the key and you dodge and go into the sprint, and it works the same.
I would like to just double tap.
Double tap, like Guild Wars 2. There you go. That's nice.
Yeah. So instead of just like, if I tap again during the first like 1/3 of the roll, so it should be like tap and hold.
That's good.
right? And that would
I
put
like
me
that.
into a sprint.
Yep.
Where it could, and if I just am spamming the button, that shouldn't put me in a sprint. That should keep me rolling.
Yes.
But like if I tap it once to roll and then tap again and hold during that roll, and then I go into a sprint, that would be very cool. Because I do the one issue I still have with it is sometimes I'm sprinting by accident, and I don't mean to be sprinting, and I would just like to stop that. That's
yeah. I have like a 6-pound thumb, so like it just goes down on the key, and I don't mean, I just mean for it to dodge, and it just goes into a full-on sprint. Have you seen the clip on Reddit? It was one of the funniest Reddit clips I've seen of the person, Trial the Sekima, sprinting into the fireball trap, getting hit, heavy stunned, rolling, dying on floor 3. Oh my god, dude. What a shame. Awesome clip though. I'm so glad the person posted it. It was amazing. So, okay, so sprint, W, skill issue if you're still having trouble with it. I also wanted to kind of touch on an interesting thing here. Maybe we'll debate it because I don't know your opinion on it. Act 4 was obviously added to the game. I loved Act 4, the story. I actually think it's going to be I think it's going to be shorter than Act 3 once you learn how to like run it and everything and are doing all the crazy optional, like the introduction to Expedition and everything. But a lot of people, I think the big complaint that people are having now is that the campaign might be too long, especially once Acts 5 and 6 are in the game. And people are saying, oh, we definitely need a skip, right? We need something. Are you pro skip, anti skip, somewhere in between? Because I've actually seen a few interesting ideas I'd like to throw your way.
Okay. So I'm heavily anti skip, kind of.
Me too.
Kind of.
Okay.
So the best way I can describe it is using PoE 1 because it's a fully fleshed out game, right? And things like this could also apply to PoE 2 and should, and probably won't be able to until full launch. We need more content for this to be. So I'm going to have to relate this to PoE 1.
Okay.
So that we have a full list of things that we can do, right? Because people also complain about the PoE 1 campaign, right?
Okay. Yep.
Now, I don't think there should ever be a skip that lets you start at maps. I think leveling your characters from level 1 has to be done. I think it's, if the front portion of your game isn't fun, the solution isn't to skip the front portion of your game. The solution is to make the front portion of your game fun. Okay, so we shouldn't be advocating for skipping 2 maps. People will always not enjoy the first 20% of the power that they have. When they've played enough times, you will always not enjoy the first 20%. If I let you skip to, let's say, starting in Act 3, people will suddenly hate Act 3 more than they used to hate Act 1. If you let people skip to level 65 and starting maps, they'll suddenly hate white maps as much as they hated the campaign, right? Wherever the first 20% is, that'll always be something people hate. So skipping completely, not an option. But I don't think we should have to level all of our alts through the campaign all of the time. So in PoE 1, we already have systems that they could put in place. We have had endless delve, endless heist, endless things like that. Now, here's how I would propose that works. Let's just use endless delve as an example. We've had endless delve races. You should be able to buy with in-game sulfite, for instance. Let's just say 50,000 sulfite buys you an item that you can use when creating a character. And when you do so, that will put that character locked into endless delve until level 65, when you exit endless delve with your first 3 ascendancies done and all the passive points through the campaign. So you have to level your first character properly, and you have to collect an endgame currency of some sort. But now I can use that investment to level an alt a different way.
Okay. That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So we're still not skipping stuff, but you are giving me alt leveling options. Now, the important bit for that for me is that I think if you're a really good player, the campaign should always be the fastest way for the fastest people. So somebody like Tai or one of our races that are, doing the whole campaign in like 2.5 hours, they should never be able to move faster in the alt leveling stuff, right? The fastest way should always be the campaign for the speedrunners. But it's hard to do something like Endless Delve significantly slower than other people. So like if it's taking you 10 hours to do the PoE 1 campaign, you're probably only going to take 6 when you're doing Endless Delve. But then someone like TieTie doing Endless Delve is probably only going to be able to make it in 4, because it's hard to be that much more efficient when the only thing you have to do is click new node, kill monsters on the way, click new node, kill monsters on the way. It's hard to be significantly more efficient at that. But then that same person, instead of 4 hours, could do the campaign in 2.5, because you can skill to be way more efficient at the campaign, right? So that sort of thing I would be a huge fan of.
Okay.
And it would also translate over to PoE 2 once we have more mechanics to play with.
Exactly. Okay, I actually haven't heard it proposed in that manner before. I'm amicable to that, especially it being more efficient to run the campaign in almost every regard. The other is kind of brain off. I'm just going to grind to get to end game, essentially. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that would be okay, because I'm really thinking, dude, I think grinding your games is going to address and perhaps bend in some way on this after they've bent on trade, after they've changed like the skill gem system, after, honestly, I think the PoE 1 combat is a little bit more in the game. I think they're going to bend on a lot of these philosophies that they've had with PoE 2 and with just PoE in general to appease the greater kind of vocal audience in some regard. I don't know how they're going to do it. Oh, go for it.
I have one more really big thing.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up another game. People might hate, a bunch of people might hate this game because there's pay to win in it. Let's not worry about that. I'm focusing on a very specific aspect of it. Okay. So Torchlight Infinite is one of my favorite ARPGs that isn't from grinding gear games. I play it a lot. A lot of people don't like it because it's got pay to win. Let's ignore that portion. One of the things that you can do in Torchlight Infinite that you cannot do in PoE, I think is fantastic. They have a skill system the exact same as PoE 2's skill system almost, where once you reach, like, let's say level 22, you get access to these new gems, but those gems start at, let's say, level 7, right? Like the lowest level Bind Spectre gem I can get is level 7. There is no level 1 Spectre gem, right? Mm-hmm. You have to reach a certain place, you have to get that gem. In Torchlight Infinite, if you have a high level character, you've gotten to maps, you can purchase these skill gems and you can actually down level them, and they down level all the way to level 1. But there's no other way to do that, and they are bound when you do so. So you can't trade them to other people. You can't hand them out to your friend who's leveling for the first time. You have to have someone in endgame that season first. But you can grab every support gem and every active gem from any level, down level them all to level 1, and hand them to your alt, where you can start with a fully linked endgame skill from level 1. This does lead to you absolutely annihilating the early game on your alts, but also, who fucking cares? Because those are alts, and oh no, I'm annihilating the first few acts because I'm using skills that aren't generally available at that time. Who cares? That's my alt. Right. It didn't ruin the league start experience. It didn't change the balance of any of the classes racing. It is only available on alts. But it is a fantastic thing, and we are set up to be able to do that. If you give me a way to down level my gems to level 1, then I can level alts with any setup.
Right.
Any setup at all. And I think that's really cool, and I would love to see that added as also a way to make alt leveling significantly better.
Yeah, a more powerful form of twinking, essentially. That works too. And I had something to add on to that I thought would be a great kind of middle ground too. Somebody proposed on my latest video that for alternative characters in the league, when you get to a new act, you have automatically completed all the side quests in that act. So you already have all the extra passive skill points, you already have like all the extra fire res, max life, all that stuff already unlocked. So kind of when you do alternate characters, you're just like on the main path. You don't need to do anything else. That eliminates a lot of the backtracking side areas, talking to NPCs, all that. I thought that'd be something kind of nice to add, I guess, to alternative characters that wouldn't be sacrificing the sanctity of the campaign. And that's kind of along the same lines. just basically making your secondary, tertiary, your fourth character a lot stronger than your first, and giving you a lot of reward for pushing that first character all the way to endgame, essentially. So
Yeah,
I do think something will
right
change.
with that as well.
I think something's going to change on that front, even if I am a campaign purist. Campaign all the way. It's so cool. Make it as fun as possible, GGG. But I do think they're going to eventually bend on that a little bit. So, yeah. Good discussion. Good discussion. Okay. Balor. Man, I have a lot of stuff on here, dude. But I want to keep it to an hour. I like keeping it snappy. What's the most interesting thing I should bring up? We've got the drama, we've got fingernail style, we've got any other issues. I'm kind of curious. I don't know if you want to go into this. You didn't say not to, but I know you have a co-host, and if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. But...
Oh no, this is fine.
Oh, okay,
absolutely.
Yeah. For people who don't know, I was kind of inspired to start my pod because BalorMage and Catmaster OP ran a long-running Path of Exile podcast called Faded Connections for years. I was even a guest on it a few times. They were so nice and reached out to me when I was a little teeny tiny baby content creator. And I always loved listening to it, but it has kind of disappeared almost with the start of basically PoE 2. I think the last episode may have been in Q3 of 2024.
Yeah.
So I think some people, because I didn't see any announcement. I see that like Cat has kind of just faded from the limelight, but you've kept on doing stuff. So here's what happened there, and have you missed having those regular podcasts with the PoE community?
I definitely miss being on podcasts, like a lot. I'll go on any podcast I'm ever invited to, and if anybody ever wants me to co-host anything, I'm there. I'm everywhere that I get invited, for sure. However, organizing podcasts is a thing that fills me with dread and panic, and I hate it, and I don't want to. So that was Catmaster's baby. He ran that. I just showed up everywhere I was told whenever I was told to. He did all of the work on that. He did everything on that, and he has stopped making content. Last I heard, he's still doing very well. He started an apprenticeship. He loves it. He's getting paid. He's existing in real life. But he's done making content, and therefore we're probably overall done with the podcast as well. Which means I'm not going to take it over, because the amount of just dread that exists in my head at the thought of trying to organize those things is just too much for me. I can't handle that. So we probably don't have any more of those coming out. Catmaster's doing great, but he's done with content, so that's just where that's gone.
Oh, well, I'm glad that Catmaster's doing well, and it is an ordeal. I'm doing what Catmaster used to do, so it can be really, really tough. Sometimes like your guests sleep through their alarms and everything. And I'm just kidding. It's totally fine. No, I'm just kidding. But it was always so fun to chat with you guys, and I think I was on one with like Lady and Sir Gog, and I just have good memories of that. So salute to you guys for keeping that podcast going.
It was a lot of fun. I miss it a lot, but not enough to take over hosting and organizing everyone. That's just not something I just don't think there's something I'll ever be able to. My brain just isn't built for that level of background organization that needs to happen for those things.
Sometimes it's like herding cats, but sometimes we have excellent guests like yourself, and we're able to yap just endlessly on pretty much any topic, and it's really, really nice. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth, and I'm like, you talk on YouTube and Twitch for a living. Why can't you talk to me? What's going on, man? But with you, it's smooth, it's natural, it's really, really nice. So I like it. And since we're chilling here, there is something that honestly, dude, it's kind of like a hot topic. You did a reaction video to it. I probably I didn't watch your whole reaction. I just watched the original video. I struggled.
It's a good time.
I struggled through the original video because I don't know if you know, but I'm friends with Kal, and when I saw that video, I was like, you have made the big, this is so bad, so wrong, man. What are you doing? This is a bad opinion. So I'm kind of curious. The tourist drama. What's your opinion on it? And then I'll give you my opinion on it. We'll see. I think we might clash a little bit. We'll have to see.
Okay. It was really fun for me to make that reaction video.
Oh, God.
I wasn't even planning on uploading it to YouTube. I was just watching it and then realized how funny it was. But yes, that dude did make an absolute dick of himself. He looked like an idiot the whole time. Almost everything he said was stupid. It was all crazy. But I'm kind of already sort of moved on from it. I'm pretty happy to have made fun of that video. I don't take anything back, but at the same time, I feel like if I keep harking on about somebody's quite obviously cooked mistake,
right,
then at some point I become the bully.
You are really so awesome, dude. Holy crap. Thank you for saying that. I don't know how many people will watch this, but I got to praise you for saying that. It's true. Like, so he made a mistake. He got absolutely milked for it, you know, across the entire...
And deservedly so.
Deservedly so, right?
He deserved to get done for that.
Right.
But also, like, it's time to... I've already kind of moved on from that. Like, it's over. Now, if this same thing happens 2 or 3 more times,
that's a little tougher,
you've now forfeited your right to be moved on from.
Right.
Right? Like at a certain... It would then move from somebody making a stupid mistake, having a bad time, and putting out just a fucking stupid take video, making themselves look like an idiot. And if it happens 3 or 4 times, then you've moved from, oh, this is someone making a mistake and doing something that looks stupid, to, no, this is actually an idiot who doesn't deserve your time. But that has to happen multiple times for me for that to be a thing that's not someone having a bad time.
Right.
And releasing something unhinged,
like Quinn.
To, oh, this is an unhinged individual who doesn't deserve our attention anymore. Those are different things.
Great.
So, like, I don't know. It was crazy. If you haven't seen it, watch my reaction video because it's great. It's a good time. But at the same time, like, you know, you give people a little bit of, like, you also move on from it and go, all right, well, as long as he doesn't behave in that manner again, then there's no point in us like harking on about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just then we become the bullies and then we're in the wrong.
Give him some grace. Everybody makes mistakes. Move on from it. If he can learn from it, right, which I talked to him, I hope he does, right? I think easily can bounce back. We've had epic level crash outs in Path of Exile from what I've seen before. I think you can recover from this, and I think you can even meme about it. I think this community, I think is forgiving in some ways, but you're right. If it happens 2 times, 3 times, more than that, and just consistently, you're cooked. You're done. So, I actually agree with you. Never mind. We have the same pretty much opinion. I thought there was it's like a sliver. There's a sliver of truth in it, right? But the sliver of truth also is like why he made the bad video. Like he fell victim to what he was critiquing, unfortunately. He literally got rage baited, right? And then made rage bait. It was like Ouroboros. He's like eating his own tail. I'm like, oh my God, no, Cal, what are you doing? You fell for it, right? Like I have massively matured. I'm sure we all get, since we're talking about it now, I'll just go in because I haven't talked about it with anybody else. I wasn't confident enough. I have been rage baited plenty in private, okay? Like I've like been, oh, screw that guy, holy crap, you know, my D-level shit talk, right, Balor? Never really publicly, and over the past few months, I feel like I've grown less and less, I don't know, like rage bait does not affect me nearly as much, and I kind of see through it now. I'm like, oh, they are playing a character, or oh, this is so obvious, like, they're playing to the crowd, playing to the cameras, just like, you know, celebrities do, kinda. Or, oh, you know what? Actually, this person actually has a great, like, what they're saying is true. They're just saying it in the craziest way possible that I could never fathom saying. So, I don't know. I'm just like hardened, you know, being online a lot more and just consuming all this different stuff. I don't know what it is, man. Have you always been kind of like, whatever, you know, this is some silly crap, or is it taking time? No, I don't know.
No. Nah, the progression of my life has been crazy. Like late teens, early 20s, I was like aggressive.
Oh,
Like I wasn't a fun person to be around.
I can't
Like
imagine that.
I was an angry child in like late teens, early 20s. And slowly over the course of time, from like anger and violence to now where there's like nothing. I can't. It's so hard to get me upset about anything. Like I don't like I can't think of a single thing anyone has done in years that would upset me to the point of violence. I don't think that exists. I don't have it in me. That all got worked out in my early 20s. I'm done. I don't there's none of that left. I think at a certain point, I got to the point where I realized that you can only really upset me if I value your opinion. And there are so few people whose opinions I value enough to upset me.
This is something I've had to learn like the hard way, dude. I really have. Because I used to get I'd hear somebody talking crap about me. I'd be like, oh man, that makes me really depressed. Or I'd read a mean comment telling me to KYS. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a terrible rest of my day. And I'm like, why should I ever let that affect me ever again? This is crazy. I did something kind of unhinged, Balor. Everybody always has told me, block all people who do crazy stuff, leave crazy comments on your YouTube channel.
No.
And I did for the longest time, all like content creator friends and everything. And at the start, right before 0.3, I cleared my 2,300 plus blocked user list. And you know what, man? It has been an absolute field. I've been loving it. I'm getting all these comments, seeing all these wild opinions. And you know what? The views are just going up, baby. You know, the view, everything is, it's green arrows all around. So I'm like, whatever. Okay.
I don't block almost anyone.
I have one. I banned a person on Twitch. That's it.
The best thing that ever got told to me, and I forget who told it to me first or where I saw it first, but it's a thing that like I almost live by now, which is never take criticism from somebody you wouldn't seek advice from.
Very smart. Very smart.
Like if you're not someone I would actively seek advice from, then your criticism doesn't mean anything to me. I don't.
There you go.
Especially on YouTube comments, like, man, I don't even know who you are. Like, what are you talking about? I'm in your head so much that you're getting angry behind your keyboard to type at me. I don't even know who you are. Like, what do you mean?
It's my favorite thing now, man. I will go like on Sir Gog. I watch Sir Gog's videos. Like he's one guy I go to for analytical breakdowns. I'll go to a Sir Gog video and like either Sir Gog will mention my name or something. And I'll see like the top comment is like, man, F Talkative try, dude. He's the worst guy ever. Why are you even mentioning his name? And I'm like,
do you comment on those?
I don't comment on those.
I do.
No.
Oh, I do.
I don't engage with it.
No, because it's the best, right? You see a comment that says, fuck Talkative Try, I hate that guy. And then on your Talkative Try account, comment under that one, yeah, I fucking hate that guy, man. He's such a pain in the ass. 2 out of 3 times, they won't realize it's you. And they'll start getting into like...
conversation.
They'll think they've found like someone to relate to. And they'll start replying.
This is the D level trash talk. I need to get to the A to the S tier trash talk levels. Like I think I'm steadily improving with YouTube comments, but it'll take me a while to get to that level of being like, hey, yeah, this is what I need to do.
Legitimately 2 out of 3 times they will not realize that it's you. and they'll start responding like they've found a kindred soul who also hates you. And then everyone else who looks at it will get the joke. Everyone else who looks at it will get the joke, and this guy just looks like a tit the whole time.
Pie on their face. It's
hilarious.
Yep. Pie on their face.
It's so funny.
No, it's good. I might have to try it next time. I'll watch out for the Sir Gog video if that happens. So, all right, Balor, dude. Was there any? We've been going for oh god, over an hour, way over an hour. Anything else that you wanted to chat about, PoE2 or otherwise, here besides my YouTube strategy for lives? We can talk about that later.
Yeah, I definitely want to inquire about that later, but that doesn't seem like pod appropriate things. Oh. So, no, I'm good.
Okay.
It's time to get back into my second character reroll or first reroll.
Excellent.
I'm
Okay,
doing
well,
a chronomancer, by the way.
oh my god, what skills are you going with?
0.3% play rate.
What skills on a chronomancer?
I think it's called Boadre's Tenure. It's what Hexblast is supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
I
Interesting.
got the idea from Rise QT. Rise QT is playing a build like that right now, I think, on a Lich.
Okay.
And I decided that looks cool, but I think I can do it on a Chronomancer even better and be like super tanky and also have good damage. And I didn't build a path of building or a plan or anything. I just like have the idea and went, yeah, that'll work. And so
Nice.
we're just gonna see. Maybe it's bad, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I wish you well on that build, Balor, and I'll probably raid you after I end my stream. Are you gonna start streaming in a little bit?
Probably about half an hour.
I'm not. All right, yeah, I'll raid you after my stream, man. It's been so great. Everybody watching in the live chat or on the bot, I'll have all of Balor's socials below. YouTube channel, Twitch, live, pretty much what every day, right, Balor? Playing PoE.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, well, this has been great, dude. We'll have to do it again for 0.4 when the Druid is definitely going to be in the game, and you're going to make some
100%,
wild,
yep,
100%
absolutely.
chance, and you're going to make some wild minion builds. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. Okay. All right. Thanks,
Pleasure being on.
Of course. Peace out. See ya.